Hello everybody, it's John
And Darius.
and we're cooking so good today for you. Today we're going to make matzo ball soup. So here I've made chicken stock a couple of days ago and I put it in the refrigerator because we don't like oily soup, so we always get the fat off the top, but today we're going to save it for the matzo ball. So just scrape it right off, stick it in a little bowl. There's nothing worse than nasty oily soup. So I do this to all my soups. That's why they take a couple of days to make. And you can leave a little bit of it in there, but all that's in this bowl would have been just an oil slick on your soup. So this is what we do. Then you have this delicious golden stock. I think that's good. And then we're going to make the matzo balls. So, when making matzo balls, you can get the matzo meal, which is easy, but we're going to use gluten-free matzo crackers and grind them up. And when you get the matzo meal, it already has other ingredients in it, like a rising agent. So we're just going to grind these up in the food processor. And I always forget that that's in there. So sorry about the noise. And what matzo is just unleavened bread, just like crackers. Let's see how much we got. Oops. That looks pretty good. I don't know if this is the cup and a half, but that's what we're aiming for. And that's a cup and a half. Fancy that. So we're going to put that in our bowl. We're going to put 3 tablespoons of kosher salt and 3/4 of a teaspoon of black pepper. Don't use regular salt because regular salt is lighter. It's finer, so it's actually will make it more salty, where that's kind of chunky. We're going to add 6 eggs. I'm going to crack them in here first so we don't get shells, because no one likes a shelly matzo ball. So that's 6 eggs. Oops. That's good enough. I'm going to give that a whisk. Fork. And then add that to our matzo meal. About 3 tablespoons of that chicken schmaltz, that fat. That's what gives it the flavor. Some people choose to use oil. We choose to use flavor. And then we're going to chop up about 3 tablespoons of dill. You can use parsley. I've seen people use cilantro. And when researching for this video, I just found all kinds of different recipes for matzo ball soup and matzo soup. So it seems there is no actual right recipe, right way to do it. Some people, I'm going to put a little seltzer in ours, about 3 tablespoons of seltzer, and it's in the freezer because it needs to be ice cold when it goes in to retain the fizz. Some people just use chicken stock, some people just use water. Because there's no like rising agent, like baking soda, baking powder, anything like that, that's going to give it a little bit of fluff. Now, if you like your matzo balls more dense and solid, you can just omit the seltzer and use regular old water. But we like them a little fluffy and light. So I got my seltzer in the freezer. I'm going to slowly open it. So it doesn't spill over the kitchen. I'm going to give this a stir before I add the seltzer, because we want the bubbles to stay in it. And again, you don't have to put any greens in it. I've seen plain old matzo balls that are, you know, no herbs in them at all. Now, this is way too soupy. And the matzo will absorb the eggs and all the schmaltz and stuff. But I think I'm going to add a little more, make some more. Make some more matzo meal. And then we're just going to add little by little, because you want the fork to kind of clear a little bit. And remember, we're going to add that seltzer water to it. The other thing too is when you get the matzo meal, it's like powder. I kind of like it to have a little body to it. That looks good. So I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of seltzer. And this is going to sit for about 30, 45, maybe an hour. So all these ingredients can absorb into the matzo meal. Then we'll come back. See how the fork separates it? That's what you're looking for. So I'm going to cover this with saran wrap, or as they say in England, cling film. And just let this do its thing. So we'll be back to show you how to make the matzo balls and put the soup together. All right, so we're back, and in the bowl we have half an onion diced up, 2 stalks of celery diced up, and now I'm going to do my carrots on our little mandolin that we got when we were in France one time, because I like my carrots paper thin in soup. So I just pass it through here. Oops. I don't know, I started doing these paper thin carrots, and I kind of really liked how it looked, and it worked. So we might just need 1 carrot. I think that's good. The matzo meal is, matzo balls is still in the fridge. Now, over here, we have our soup coming to a boil. So we're gonna add the carrots and celery and onions to the soup. You can cook them first in a pan like you would, like, you know, in some butter or some oil or something. But I think when you add them to the soup when it's raw, it makes the soup taste that much better. So we're gonna let these soften in here, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna add our matzo balls. All right, so it's been about 45 minutes and we are making the matzo balls. Some people make a big giant matzo ball. I prefer them the size of like a golf ball. But you can do whichever you like. So they're sticking together nicely. The soup has been boiling with the raw vegetables for about 30 minutes, I guess. So all there is left now to do is add the matzo balls, add some dill,
you're rocking and rolling,
and cook our matzo ball soup. There's a little baby one. Where's my hands off? All right, so let's bring them over to the. I'm just going to drop them in there. And you can see they're starting to float to the top. Then I'm going to add a little chopped dill. Again, you can use parsley. I saw one video where they use cilantro, which I'm not a giant fan of cilantro. So we're gonna let this cook for about 20 minutes now. Then we'll come back and plate it for you.
Yummy,
Thanks for joining in. Enjoy the rest of your Passover.
Bye.
All right, so the matzo balls are done. As you can see, they expanded quite a bit. I should have used a bigger pot, but it's fine. So I'm just gonna ladle some into a bowl. I put a little bit of fresh dill in it. I want some of those vegetables. And there you have the matzo ball soup.
Yeah.
Thanks for